Hall of Fame is skewed now. Once upon a time, a Hall of Famer was somebody who changed the darn game, who made you want to provoke you to reach in your pocket and pay for admission to go see that guy play. Forget the rest of the team. You wanted to see that guy. That's not a Hall of Fame anymore. Everybody, Tom, Dick, and Harry, you're a Hall of Famer. You're a Hall of Famer. You're a Hall of Famer. They let everybody in this thing now. It's not exclusive anymore. How many they allow in every year? Not this year, because this year is like everybody come on in. Everybody come on in. Normally it's what, 7 or 8?
5 or 6?
Yeah. Why does it have to be? It should be based on, are you that guy? Were you that guy? Not just because we got to meet a quota.
VonAllen Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this special episode of Hold My Nugget Studios.
Highlight commentary.
Brought to you live by VonAllen Sports. The Hall of Fame, so that's a complete mess, by the way. I started saying, I don't trust them. It started happening with the Terrell Owens situation. Mm-hmm. I thought the Hall of Fame was about production on the field, not rumor, innuendo, what maybe something happened. With Terrell Owens, half of the locker room would say that he was a good teammate.
So why wouldn't you create the narrative that I was a good teammate with the guys that spoke highly of me?
So you're only listening to the other half, and I don't see what that's got to do with Hall of Fame. Once they started doing that and making him wait, I was like, and then they didn't make Randy Moss wait. Now, let me tell you, I love Randy Moss, okay? But if you're making Terrell wait for, what was it, 3 years? 3 years, right?
Yeah, 3 years.
Like
you have to get it on the third try.
Then Randy's got to wait 3 years. I'm sorry.
It's going off like popcorn.
Well, let me relay it back to you though.
But him pretending like he's pulling his butt down and mooning the Packers fans and all that.
Moss. Randy Moss is in for a touchdown.
Al Harris playing off. Bit up on the route, and Randy Moss, without even really being able to run, as he shoots the moon to the fans here in Green Bay.
That is a disgusting act by Randy Moss, and it's unfortunate that we had that on our air live. That is disgusting by Randy Moss.
And then to make matters worse with Randy, because the one thing you'll never get for Terrell Owens was when they suited up on Sunday, he gave 110%. Terrell never quit. He never once quit. Randy's on the record saying he plays when he wants to. Those years in Oakland, he quit on his teammates. But Terrell Owens, he was the consummate teammate on Sundays where he put it all on the line. Even if he wasn't getting the ball, he would block like a madman. It would have drops here and there, but he was still a prolific receiver. He's gone to 5 Pro Bowls, 5,000-yard seasons with 5 different teams.
He should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. Randy should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But Randy did say, I play when I want to.
He did.
I said, if you gave me a choice, I would take T.O. Because you know what? I know every Sunday I'm going to get everything he got. Turn the tape on. The man told you he played when he want to. There are times he walked off the ball when he wouldn't get it. Run play, he walking off the ball. Hey, speak for itself.
So that's absolutely ludicrous for him to have to wait. And the number of people that had to wait. Like I think Shannon Sharp had to wait. Chris Carter had to wait. And then the other day, Marvin Harrison wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. So you scratch your head like, so what is the criteria? Because
but Calvin Johnson was.
Yeah, but Calvin Johnson was.
How?
So it's very confusing. I don't get it. I really don't get it because there's a lot of players who've made it in. Like with Terrell Davis. He had a magnificent 4-year stretch and injuries robbed him of, a prolific long career. Man. But for all intents and purposes, he had 4 good years, and that was enough to get in. Somebody like Kurt Warner, he had his first 3 years with St. Louis, where it was 2 MVPs and 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 victory and a Super Bowl MVP. Then from 2003 up until 2007, he did nothing. When he finally got the call midway through the season to take over for Matt Leinart with Arizona, that back 2.5 years was spectacular for what he did with the Cardinals. But if you were to mix everything of his career together, it's only 5.5 years.
I love Kurt Warner, but I'm not sure that he did enough, long enough. One of my favorite players of all time. Even Warren Moon. Warren Moon is one of my favorite players of all time. I'm not sure about him. And I'm using the word sure because he could or couldn't. I just really wish Kurt Warner could have won that Super Bowl against the Steelers. That would have made him 2-1. He would have been MVP of the Super Bowl again. That would have given him 2 regular season MVPs, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. He would have been the first quarterback to win a Super Bowl with 2 different teams, and that would have made it undeniable. First ballot. First ballot is supposed to mean something. Keep in mind, Terrell Owens did not get first ballot. He was kept out. And you're going to let Calvin Johnson in? T.O. played in a lot of playoff games. T.O. went to the Eagles and got them in a zone and just added this fire to the team. I'm not talking about what happened later, but honestly, I think a lot of the Eagles' downfall and a lot of that was Donovan McNabb. People don't want to point this out. Donovan McNabb was just as much of a problem as they say T.O. was on Philadelphia. Donovan McNabb was a jealous, petty douche.
If that's enough to now qualify for the Hall of Fame, have they completely changed the criteria? Because we're talking about the greatest players to have ever played.
Like, yo, you got to get back to the room. You got to get back to the room. They're going to come knock on your door. And so they put me in the car to drive because I was running and pushing for time just to get back in time, get back to the room before they knocked on the door. So just so happened, as soon as I got back to the room, got into my hotel room, I literally came in the room, went around the corner, and then somebody knocked on the door, and he came, David Baker came back, and he's like, unfortunately, you didn't make it. Turned around to my family, I said I didn't make it, and they was like, what?
And it's supposed to be a hall of guys who aren't, you don't have to think if they would qualify or not.
Right.
Now they're starting to let anybody, I don't want to say anybody, but if Eli Manning makes it in, I'm going to have some problems.
Oh my God. Okay, I swear to you, it has nothing to do with him being on the Giants and beating the Patriots twice. I don't do that, okay? Everyone here knows that I am a straight shooter no matter what. I don't care. I give credit when credit is due.
I have never, ever diminished the accomplishments of any sports figure on any level because I did not like them. Absolutely not. It's inexcusable. As far as I'm concerned, the media should turn in their card. They cannot be trusted. I don't think they should even be allowed to vote on the Hall of Fame anymore after this. It's a disgrace.
I give Eli credit for those Super Bowls and, kind of credit for one of the MVPs because that Giants defense, somebody on the Giants defense should have got
the first one. Should have been the Giants defense. Absolutely.
That's just wrong, okay? It's the same thing as the Patriots Rams Super Bowl in 2018. I think that should have gone to Stephon Gilmore. I think it should have been a representative of that defense. When you hold a team to 3 points, a Sean McVay team to 3 points, I'm sorry, a defensive representative, I don't care who you give it to, but it could have gone to Gilmore. But anyway, with Eli, I'm sorry, no. But his name is going to get him in. His name. That's it. It's done. And it's over at that point. It's the Hall of Very Good, like Dion said. It's the Hall of Very Good. Let's say 30 years from now, when some kid walks into the Hall of Fame, when you see those busts side by side, and it says Eli Manning next to Tom Brady, next to Bradshaw, next to Montana, that's an equivalent. There's no details that says, oh, Tom was this much better than Eli. No, it says that we're equals. And I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Like, how can you do this? It doesn't make any damn sense at all. And it gets me mad. I've gotten so mad about the Hall of Fame so many times. Every year it seems like I'm bitching about it. But yeah, I mean, I didn't even know you thought about that about Eli, but yeah.
Oh yeah. It's because he's a 500 quarterback. He's perfectly even, as Thanos said, balanced in his career with 117 losses, 117 victories. His only playoff victories were in those 2 Super Bowl runs where you can argue the entire first run. He did have some clutch moments in the run to the Super Bowl, but his only positive drive was that last drive. And really, it was more the catch of Tyree, his ability to escape and just launching it up there. If Rodney Harrison just moves an inch, towards the left, he bats that ball down. There was a lot of different things. Asante Samuel dropped a pick there.
He threw a pick.
A number of people, they had different things happen. And Plaxico Burress was wide open in the end zone against, I believe it was Dobbs. I think it was. But
he missed it.
No, it was Ellis Hobbs. That's what it was.
They called the wrong defense, though.
So then with all of that, the first Super Bowl, it should have gone to somebody on the defense, like you said. And the second run, I'll give Eli 110% because he was like 75% completion rate. He was tearing the defense up, and the pass to Manningham, you just can't get any better than that. But there's no reason why he should be able to walk those halls and, like you said, be an equivalent, because they're not going to have their records or all that other stuff. They're just going to have the names there. And the one argument that they always make for Manning is who he played against. It's almost as if we're not saying, oh man, Eli is just this amazing player. It's like, oh no, but look who he played against. So essentially, if Tom Brady was Drew Bledsoe, are we even feeling the same way about Eli Manning? Probably not. No. But they're attaching Eli to Brady's legacy because that was the quarterback. But they really played against each other's defense. So I don't get it. It always frustrates me because being in New York, a native New Yorker, and always hearing Giants fans talk about Eli, he's not as great as guys make it seem. He had Hall of Fame moments. He's not a Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I mean, I understand them being excited and happy about that. They've always been They've always been known as a defensive team. They've never been known for their quarterbacks. But, I get that. But they have to be reasonable at the same time, And it's infuriating. We have the Gord King sends a $5 super chat. He says, we often wonder what it would have been like to have Moss with Brady his whole career. But T.O., with his effort, might have been better. I absolutely agree. I was lobbying to get T.O. I didn't care about all that stuff in the locker room and everything. To be honest with you, I think Donovan McNabb is kind of a baby.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
I did my job. So I go back to the huddle and I was like, dude, I was open. His response to me was, shut the F up. I don't know what happened to Donovan.
I used to say you could replace Donovan, I think, easier than you can replace Owens. Mm-hmm. And the fans welcomed T.O. with open arms. They loved him. And I don't know. I wanted him on the Patriots for a long time, but it just never happened.
Yeah, I agree. I actually think that Belichick and McDaniels, they would have loved to have somebody like Terrell Owens there, because when you're winning, everything's always looking good. And I would highly doubt, because if I can't recall what it was for that ended up leading to the departure of Moss. I don't know if it was a matter of targets or something during that 2010 season.
It was a contract.
Yeah, it was a contract sort of situation. Yeah. I don't know if Terrell Owens ever had, issues like that. Now, granted, Belichick ran ran the team with an iron fist or whatever. But I believe that Owens would have definitely bought in, because for one, he's getting the ball thrown his way. You're winning games. If he's on that perfect, season, team, I actually think that the following seasons after that, he'll recognize, like, man, we got a chance to win here, because if you look at who each of those guys' mentors was, for Moss, it was Chris Carter, but Chris Carter never won. With Terrell Owens, it was Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice got 3 of those things.
Yeah.
So since that's the case, I would believe that Owens would have definitely bought in more. So I think he would have been the better. Because personally, between the two, I think Moss is more naturally gifted, but Terrell Owens probably the hardest working receiver right behind Jerry Rice, because he had to.
It's in a way, it's like the wide receiver version of looking at Dan Marino, who's just naturally talented, or Tom Brady, who works his butt off and makes it, like, wills it to happen.
Yeah.
And that's what Terrell reminds me of. Owens was never supposed to be someone that big. He was never supposed to be that. And those late rounders, man, they have a chip on their shoulder.
Oh yeah.
It's just a different thing.
Many of you may be wondering why we're here instead of Canton. There's been a lot of speculation and false reports as to why I chose not to be there. I would like to set the record straight. It's not because how many times it took for me to be voted into the Hall. It's about the mere fact that the sports writers are not in alignment with the mission and core values of the Hall of Fame. These writers disregarded the system, the criteria, and bylaws in which guys are inducted, and ultimately the true meaning of the Hall of Fame and what it represents. I wanted to take a stand so the next guy coming after me will not have to go through what I and others have gone through. Whether it's 3 years or 45 years, you should get what you rightfully earned.
This is Patriots linebacker, Super Bowl 49 champ, Darius Fleming, and you're watching VonAllen Sports, real and honest NFL analysis. Subscribe now. Join the empire. VonAllen Sports, let's go!
VonAllen Sports.